الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهديه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، حياكم الله my sisters. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah you're all well. Just a quick revision of what we did last week. So last week we had a hadith and we had a story from Surah Al-Qalam. And we had a few reflections. I hope you've taken some notes. In the hadith, Aisha radiallahu anha was talking, or she narrated that one time they had slaughtered a sheep, right? And Muhammad sallallahu asked, "Ma baqiya minha?" So after they slaughtered, they start giving to those that who need. So he came at the end and he said, "Ma baqiya minha." So, what was the answer? When he asked, "Ma baqiya minha?" What is remaining from it? What is left from it? The shoulder area of, it's not a cow, it was a sheep. Shatan. The shoulder area of the sheep was left. أحسنتي. So she said, "ما بقي إلا كتفها." الكتف, ما شاء الله, أحسنتي, Nadia. So why? Because he used to like this part of the animal. So, but then he had an answer to her answer. So she said it's only the katif, the shoulder remained. What did he say? This is not what we reflected on last time. What did he say to that?
Everything remained except the shoulder.
أحسنتي, جزاك الله خيرا. So he said all of it remained except the shoulder. Ahsanti. All of it remained except the shoulder, because all of it was given for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so it remained for akhirah. The shoulder, think who's the next person. You are given something, sorry. You think, who's the next person? Who am I going to share it with? Sometimes we see that delicious cake. Maybe we make it ourselves. Maybe it was given to us. It is exactly what you like. And you say, it's all for me. Yeah, it could. But who would you send a slice for? This slice is going to remain for you. So you're going to eat some of it and enjoy, but the rest that you're going to give is going to remain for you, is going to stay for you. From the cake, from the food, from the whatever you can give from. So that was the first hadith. After that, we learned the story of Ashabul Jannah. There were 3 brothers having a garden, and it was almost time for them to harvest their produce, or what the garden or what the trees gave. But the night before, they started having a plan. They said, okay, we're going to have to go very early in the morning, right? They didn't make what is the thing that they didn't do? As they were intending to go early morning to harvest. They didn't make an exception for the poor. وَلَا يَسْتَثْنُونَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. No, before letting people know, it's still the night before, my sisters. When you read the story in the Quran, take one step at a time. I think we tried to do that as well last time. We want to go to the conclusion. No, I'm saying in the night before, they don't want to give any share. So what did they not do? They didn't make an exception. They didn't say, we're going to harvest except that part.
I did check about the exception, and some scholars did say that they did not make an exception to give the poor And some scholars as well said they did not make an exception in Allah's will, as they did not say, inshallah, tomorrow we do, because the previous verse to that, it says that they take an oath. They taken an oath that they're going to go in the morning, do that as if they are really sure morning is going to be here. So they made two things. First, they didn't say, inshallah, we're going to do, or they took the oath and then they say, inshallah, in the oath. And the second thing is that they did not make exception to give the poor. So the exception here is understood by the scholars in both ways. And Jazakallah khairan, my sister, for calling my attention to it. Barakallah fiki.
So they said, we're going to harvest without saying, and we're going to leave this to give away. That is daring already, daring to go to one's farm or harvest, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them every fruit in the tree without saying, I will give for Allah something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for others. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the surah, وَلَا يَسْتَثْنُونَ. Then while they're asleep, something happened. The land was desolated. The garden was destroyed. Okay. You understand, alhamdulillah, you're not using the exact word. The place was clear as if nothing before. No, it wasn't like that. It was looking like it was harvested already. Not like nothing was before. If you say nothing was before, like it's barren. Allahu A'lam if it was barren. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that that ta'if from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, something came upon it. It could be wind, it could be animals, it could be insects. Something came, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent on it, that it looked like it was sarim. Sarim means what? It was harvested already. Yes, that happened, my sister, during their sleep. So this is why we need to slow down. This in the night before they go to sleep, they had a certain intention and they didn't make the exception in the night before they go to sleep. Then they went to sleep. The intention was, let's go early in the morning to harvest the garden, right? They didn't make the exception. Then they went to sleep. During their sleep, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a ta'if from him on the fruits or the produce. So the garden looked like it was sarim. Sarim means what? It was already harvested. They didn't know that yet. They didn't see it yet. Then فَتَنَادَوْا مُصْبِحِينَ. Exactly. It looked like the fruits were picked already, but they didn't see it yet. They are still leaving the house. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that what happened through the night. At that moment, they didn't know it yet. They leaving the house, and they're now, what Rumana said a while ago when she said, they don't want the poor to come. So they say, let's go. Hurry before the sun rising, and then people will hear what you're about to do, and then they will come. And then they said it out loud to one another, أَلَّا يَدْخُلَنَّهَا الْيَوْمَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِسْكِينٌ. No poor will enter today. Like they have to go fast so they can pick the fruits. So no poor will come. Literally, this is what they said in the morning on their way to the place, to the Jannah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in this bit, وَغَدَوْا عَلَى حَرْدٍ قَادِرِينَ. They thought they had power. And this is so, when I think about it, I feel like shiver, subhanAllah. Because sometimes we think, I will go, I will do. If you do this, I will do that. That is us thinking, assuming we have power to do something. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, in that moment when they are going and they're saying, no poor will come today, غَدَوْا عَلَى حَرْدٍ قَادِرِينَ. They thought they had power to do that. They had power not to allow people to go eat from the poor, a portion, not everything, just a portion. Then فَلَمَّا رَأَوْهَا قَالُوا, when they saw it now, they are in front of the garden, they said something, who remembers? فَلَمَّا رَأَوْهَا قَالُوا إِنَّا لَضَالُّونَ. So what is it? When they saw it, what happened? What did they say? Indeed, we are lost. Like they didn't, not that, we explained this bit. It's not like we are lost as not knowing the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are lost as this is not the place. Where is the garden? Did we come to the wrong place? Why they're saying that? Because this is not the same like they saw yesterday. It took them a minute to understand what happened. Not a minute, like some time. So فَلَمَّا رَأَوْهَا قَالُوا إِنَّا لَضَالُّونَ, and then they said بَلْ نَحْنُ مَحْرُومُونَ. Indeed, we have been deprived. It was taken. We lost it. And then they started reminding one another, didn't I tell you that you need to say tasbih? Didn't I tell you that you have to do this? They started reminding one another. So when we looked at both of the stories, the first one about the Prophet ﷺ and Aisha giving everything except the shoulder, and then Muhammad ﷺ saying everything stays except the shoulder, compared to I'm not going to give at all. Not only that, intending from the night before, intending ahead of time, when the money comes, I'm not going to share. When the fruit comes, I'm not going to give. Already, like before the receiving of it. Then that is when we think we had power to do that. Then they saw that it's gone. So what else now you're going to give or not give? They thought only the poor will not eat from it. Turns out, turns out, no one did. No one did. SubhanAllah. Okay, but after all that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful. After all that, they turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They realized. So when something like this happened to us, yes, it's painful, it's challenging, it requires a lot of sabr, but it requires as well a reflection. So although what happened to them is big in how they could handle it, but it pushed them to say Subhana Rabbina. So at the end they turned and they returned back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sometimes when something happened to us that we are not ready for, we didn't think this will happen. We didn't think I will receive this news or that news. We didn't think. Then there is a wisdom there. Then what should I do now? I should say Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Allahumma ajurni fi musibati ukhlif li khayran minha. May Allah make me patient. May Allah give me sabr. May Allah make me ta'ib or those that turn to Him and ask for tawbah. So that was our talk last time. So we concluded at the end few things. We should not resent anyone. We should not deprive anyone. Even if you have an argument with, even if they didn't treat you well one day, you want to give them too. It's okay. If they don't accept, it's fine, but at least go ahead and have the intention to give. If you have the intention to give, then you went and you didn't find them. It's all right. You already got the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't need to feel upset or anything. So that was last week. Today, the story from today is from Surah Al-Layl. Surah Al-Layl is in Juz Amma. And the story is all the way to the end, but it's important to give you just a little bit of an idea about the flow in Surah Al-Layl. Then we look at the story at the end. So the surah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَى وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا تَجَلَّى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath by the night when it covers, between brackets, everything, and by the nahar, the daylight, when it rises and shine. And وَمَا خَلَقَ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنثَى. He take Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by himself who created the male and the female. And then he says, إِنَّ سَعْيَكُمْ لَشَتَّى. indeed, your striving, your effort is indeed different, diverse. Maybe in a certain town, all the people at that time, maybe all of them rise up at, let's say, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. But each and every one of them is shatta in what they have to do that day. Why they had to do it? How did they do it? So, سعيكم لشتى. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى. As for the one who gave, without saying gave what? Gave. So you understand everything. Gave money, gave food, gave time, gave love, gave everything they could give from. They gave. وَاتَّقَى, and was mindful and protecting himself or herself. وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى, and believed in the most beautiful. Most beautiful, according to the tafsir, it could be saying La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, could be saying La ilaha illallah, or believing in that there is a Jannah at the end. That's the most beautiful too. فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving a promise here. فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. We will ease him toward the easiest. When I explain this, my sisters will ask me, does it mean we'll make easy for him? No, it's not saying make easy for him. It says ease him. He himself go through the activities or what he has to do, eased through, not difficult. The dhuhr calls. Some of us find it's automatic. Even before dhuhr, okay, it's 2 minutes for dhuhr, I'm going to go have wudu. Right? Wudu, to have wudu, to have that light and ishraq shining coming from you in this life and in the day of judgment. This is wudu. So you see, okay, 2 minutes for it's just enough for me to have wudu and get ready for the prayer. This is some of us. Very easy for them. Whatever they do, they're cooking, they're outside, they know I want to get ready for the salat before the salat. I want to wait for it. I want to expect it. I want to be there when it calls. They don't want to miss the appointment. You see, some of us as well, they hear that then and they say, okay, I will pray in a little bit. It's just cold. I can pray in a little bit. I'll just finish my meal. I'll just take a nap. I'll just go downstairs, get this from the supermarket. Some of us will forget completely about it. We'll only remember when it's only 10 minutes left. And then they say, okay, 10 minutes, am I going to be able to catch it? Yes, you can. So they go rushing and they may or may not catch it to the end. So you see now this easing you through what you're about to do is a promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When, can you see here, when? You have to do 3 things for that to happen. It's a promise. The easing through the easiest way is promised by Allah. When, you have to fulfill 3 conditions. If you got them, as I was saying, please. Right, number 1, and what is it? Number 2, what is it? Number 3, what is it? So you are now looking to have the promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which to be eased through to the easiest, to be eased to the easiest or toward the easiest. You need to have 3 things done. Number 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, give. Santi. Someone asks, give what? You say, from everything you can. Number 2, have taqwa. Be mindful. Be mindful over the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said don't do, and protect yourself by not doing. Ahsanti, mashallah. 3rd, be mindful is the second one, my sister. There are 3. So be mindful is 1, but it's number 2 in the order. What is the 3rd? صدق بالحسنى. To believe in the husna. Take it literally, my sister Romana. To believe in the husna and then say, what is husna? Because according to tafsir, it can have two meanings. To say, La ilaha illallah, that's husna. To believe that there is a Jannah at the end of the road, that's husna too. So husna can be the Jannah, the most beautiful can be the Jannah, or can be to say La ilaha illallah, which eventually leads you to Jannah. Okay, so to believe in the husna, those are the three conditions. So when you find that there is challenge, why am I not praying on time? Why did I keep miss my prayers? Or to believe in La ilaha illallah, between brackets, which eventually leads you to Jannah. Ahsanti. Okay, so why am I having this challenge? I ask you, okay, you believe in La ilaha illallah? Yes, I do. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Do you give? From what? From anything you can. When you get a gift, for example, do you share? When you cook, do you share? When it comes to Ramadan, do you give? So maybe it's the giving. Are you mindful? Means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said for certain things don't do, and maybe you are doing for the things he said don't do. Then be mindful, protect yourself. If he said don't do it, if he give an order, then you are obedient servant. You are abdu muti'a lillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are obedient slave to your master. So you say, okay, if Allah said don't do it, I won't do it. So check those areas. Maybe this is why it's not easy, but maybe when you improve that, it will get easy. And I assure you it will. Why do I say I assure you it will? Because it's promised by him. He said, فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ. We will ease him towards the easiest. Okay. So here taqwa is mentioned like that in this flow. Quickly, I will show you the opposite. وَأَمَّا مَنْ بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى. So this is exactly the opposite of أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى. So if أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى was to give and be mindful, بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى means not to give, which be to be bakhil, not to share, to keep things to oneself without sharing, keep information, keep time, keep wealth, keep anything that anyone could give. This people is bakhila, or this one is bakhila. Wastaghna, he's not mindful. So going through, okay, this is what I want. Okay, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that. They don't hear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this or said that. So istaghna means they are acting like they don't need it. They are not in need to hear these lectures. They're not in need to hear these stories. They're not in need for someone to remind them. I'm not in need. I don't need that. I know what I can do and I will do it. This is their attitude. So they do the opposite of a'ta wattaqa. And then second one or third one, they deny the most beautiful. So how we can, or the husna, which means they deny that there is a Jannah or nar or punishment or reward, or they deny la ilaha illallah. So they get the complete opposite. So you say, what are things hard for him? I tell you, no, look carefully. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we will ease him still. It's not make difficult for him. We will ease him still, but to the most difficult. He's going to go to the most challenging road, the most difficult place to be, but with what? With hardship? With ease. He's going so fast. He or she, of course, I'm saying he or she or they are going toward the danger, going to go to a place that is not good in this life or the hereafter, but they're going with ease. You say, subhanAllah, how is it that you hear the adhan and the prayer time after prayer and you don't pray? It looks for them easy. They don't even think about it. Right? Why? Because one of the three is missing. One of the three they need to establish. Their taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They need to be giving. They need to be صدق بالحسنى. Of course, I'm not including Muslims. It can be Muslim or any other person that have a problem in the three areas. You need to be أعطى, you need to be اتقى, you need to be صدق بالحسنى to get the first promise, to be eased to the easiest. But if the opposite happen, the person will be eased but pushed to the most difficult. So they go with ease. They don't see it's hard. You see? Okay, so that was important for you to understand the story. So what is the story? Where is the story? The story starts here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى. What is the verse talking about? Talking about نَارًا تَلَظَّى, that there is fire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us from the fire. And then he said, only the person that's most miserable, and of course, because of their choices, will end up there. Then he told us, الَّذِي كَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى. They denied and they turned away. But then he said, there is someone going to not be put in the fire, be avoiding the fire. سَيُجَنَّبُهَا. Who? Not only taqi, he's called al-atqa, which is a superlative from taqi. Taqi, to have taqwa. Atqa is to have the most taqwa. So the one that has atqa, the one who is atqa, is going to be avoiding it. Okay, so what is the story that you're saying? This is actually about Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. These verses from verse 17 all the way to the end of the surah is about Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And there is a lot to learn about something he did and to reflect on it and to clear it for yourself. So what happened? Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu used to be from those who are the richest. He has a lot of wealth and he never worried about wealth. So after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam announced da'wah in Jahr, like after he mentioned, he said to everyone, it was secret for 3 years at the beginning for family and friends and those who are close, until they made a lot of strength, or they had a lot of let's say population Muslims. Then he announced. After that, many people wanted to become Muslim. So there was this Habashi from Habasha, a slave that was bought by Umayyah ibn Khalaf. Umayyah ibn Khalaf is a person in Mecca. He's not a Muslim. He's from Quraysh, and he bought a slave. This slave is from Habasha, from Ethiopia, and his name was Bilal. When or after the Prophet ﷺ announced his da'wah, Bilal embraced Islam. What happened to Bilal? He was oppressed. He was hit. He was harshly treated by his master, Umayyah ibn Khalaf. And he used to lay him down in the heat. Any of you that went to Mecca for Hajj or for Umrah or for a visit know how hot, even Riyadh, if you are in Riyadh airport, the minute you go out of the airport, you see how the heat is. So in Mecca, under the heat of the sun, he will lay him and he will put like those heavy rocks on his chest. And Bilal, maybe you know the story, so Bilal would say one thing. What would Bilal say? أحد 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 أحد, because they want him to worship the idols, which are many. So he kept saying أحد أحد. So one of these days, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu passing by. So when he said أحد أحد, he said ينجيك الواحد الأحد. The only one will save you, will rescue you. He went and to his house. He got a chunk of money. He had it with him. And then he went to Umayyah ibn Khalaf and he said, listen, I want to buy this servant of yours. He said, even if you offer me nothing, I will still give him. He has no khayr in him. This is the opinion of Umayyah, that Bilal has no goodness in him, no khayr in him. He said, just take him. He said, no, name your price. So he named it. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu has the ability to pay it. So he paid and went and freed Bilal. And then he said, listen, you go for the sake of Allah. According to their system, now the new master is who? Is Abu Bakr, right? And he could have him as well. He just bought him legally according to their law at the time. He can have him as a slave and as a servant. But he said, no, you are hurr fi sabilillah. This action from Abu Bakr caused disturbance in Mecca. Why? Now I want you to look at from the perspective of the Meccan and at that time, the people that live in Mecca, the Quraysh, those that don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those that think about the money and the value. Why is there a disturbance? Why is that a problem? What's in it for him? Why would anyone pay all this money? Exactly. Why anyone would pay all this money to buy a slave and then let them go? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to them. And of course, they asked him. He didn't say anything. He didn't say why he did it. He didn't say it in words that they could hear. No one heard his reason. They just kept accusing him. Why would you do that? Is it because he made a favor for you? He made a favor for you, isn't he, in the past? And you're repaying him, right? And that became the answer. So when someone asks, why did Abu Bakr do that? They will say, because Bilal had a favor on him in the past and he was repaying him. You see why? This is why. And they kept saying that. And then, but that, of course, that's not the truth. Abu Bakr didn't want to argue, so he didn't say what is the truth. He just left it. However, the Lord of Abu Bakr, subhanahu wa ta'ala, wanted them to know what they did it, why they did it, and want us to know why he did it. Not they, he. You see, Abu Bakr couldn't get himself to say, I did for this reason. The reason is in his heart. He didn't say it. However, his Lord, subhanahu wa ta'ala, wanted us to know why. So now look. So, وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى. Who is al-atqa? الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى. The one who gives his wealth. يَتَزَكَّى, to purify and grow himself. But is that the reason? Wait. وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى. There is no one, has no favor on him that he has to repay. Exactly what they started saying. They started saying, he's returning a favor. He's returning something. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in a Quran that we're going to continue reading until Day of Judgment, no, there wasn't a favor. It wasn't a favor that he was paying or repaying. It wasn't. I hope you can see from different understanding. Then what was the reason? Look here. إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. Who's saying that? رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى, subhanahu wa ta'ala. رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى is saying why he did it. Can you believe? Subhanallah. He's saying he only did it seeking the face of his Lord the highest. So when he went home to pick the money, when he went to Umayyah, when he paid from the money, that is the only thing in his heart. I want the face of my Lord the highest, which can be understood like I want to see my Lord in Jannah, or I want him to be happy with me. I just want him. This is only for him. إلا ابتغاء وجهه ربه الأعلى. So that was exactly was in his heart, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who says the truth. He is the truth, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was in Abu Bakr's heart. I only do it ابتغاء وجه ربي الأعلى. And then look at the end. وَلَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى. And he's going to be satisfied. What does that mean? And he's going to be pleased. He's going to be satisfied. So, what does that mean? وَلَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى. He will be happy with everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him. So he will be happy. He will be pleased. Okay, hold on. Not only good outcome. It has to be the outcome he wanted. Look, he will be pleased means his desire is granted. He will achieve what he intended, ahsanti, which is وجه ربه الأعلى. So don't say he will be happy in general. Yes, that could mean that he will be happy. No, he will be happy or satisfied for the desire he had. So if he was seeking to see وجه ربه الأعلى, then he will be happy, which means what? He will see him. If his desire would be to please his Lord, then he got it, which means he pleased his Lord. You see? Clear. So وَلَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى here is relating to what he intended, what he wanted to give his wealth for. Is that clear, my sisters? Okay, so what do we take away? What do we take away from the story? First, we understood at the beginning of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about taqwa, and taqwa is one of the three things that when you do taqwa and a'ta and saddaqa bil husna, you have ease. Now, so can you have some takeaways for me, please? We have about 2 minutes. Okay, to have the best intention always. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's in your heart. So don't go towards something with mixed intention. It's not, yes, don't judge people and don't hear people judgment either. People don't know. Abu Bakr who didn't justify anything and said, hey, I did it for Allah. Some people are determined to tell you that, hey, I made it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you don't have to say it. Make it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and that's it. You don't have to say I made it for Allah. Again, learning from Abu Bakr. He was so humble. He was so shy from his Lord that he didn't want even to say it. I did it because that is now maybe the people talk or the ujbun nafs, like what we think about our deed can change that. So he didn't even want to touch it. We don't need to show our intention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala know. Ahsanti. So what we need to work on is, why are we doing anything? Why are you in here listening to or attending this class? What is the next activity? Why are you doing it? You want to go out. Why? You want to do something good. Why? Ahsanti. To please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is one, but want him. You see, that is main in Abu Bakr's intention. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى. He's seeking his Lord. He wants his Lord. He wants to return to him in the best way. He wants to see him. He wants him to be pleased. So ابتغي, let's do ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى. ما شاء الله. أحسنتم my sisters. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all to the best. أحسنتي جزاك الله خيرا. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام عليكم.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.